Feel my sorrow fading, there's pleasure that's pervading every chore that used to take so long. In mornings when I wake up, I have new dreams that make up the lyrics that I put into this song. Far behind, and every word of yours is etched into my mind. The midday sun is burning, soon people will be turning from the fields and into deeper shade. And if you are among them, the songs that I have sung then no longer fit, their meaning now will fade. in the stands, making fists with my hands. Though the action was blurred, my gaze was undeterred. No one dared speak a word as the impossible occurred. He stood them all there in a line, and of his intent he made no sign. He destroyed all opponents with ease. His fame spread like it was a disease. It ran faster than any man who had ever lived before. Though we watched him succeed, using his mind and his speed, no one could be aware that there now was a tear, and it was more than he could bear as he threw his hands in the air. No, I'm not judging the man, I'm only a casual fan, but it would seem to me that at last he would be now content and happy, from his bondage now free. But he knew he could never conceive of the thousands of ways he would grieve, or the battle that he long had fought, or the victory that he long had sought, because now that he held in his hand the greatest honor that was known in the land, he didn't know it. in a window framed for view. God, I wish it weren't true, but every day is like the last. There's no separation from the past. Infinite our loneliness abounds, and our solitude surrounds. Try to sing but only breath. When a star is seen his death, he often feels as I have found. Put it back upon a higher shelf. There's no other way around. All the incidental sounds remind us that it's quiet now. If you want me to, I'll show you how. Don't you think it's time we put to rest places we both know the best, too familiar to remain? But Andromeda's the same as waking from a moment's sleep. This is not the kind of thing you keep.
If you feel that you're really connected with the universe and you really trust that part of you that's inside, then you can be absolutely prosperous in the abundance of wisdom. I am open and receptive to all good. Not a little bit, not just some, but all good. And I think, how are we going to let it in? How are we going to let it in? That feel? Does it really feel wonderful for everybody?
It feels just like I'm going nowhere, but they tell me that I'm going somewhere. How can I explain your vision next to mine? If ever you would need a hand to repair your broken shatter and blue, I'll be there in an hour. My 6 looks like you're 9. 'Cause every hope I foster runs out within the week, but every worthy roster pays homage to my streak. Don't tell me be happy, I'm not the type to hear. You always said it's crappy to hold your pain so dear. Wish me well, I've got to go now. Pack up my things and leave my snowplow. If I forget my boots, I'll just wear bags on shoes. Coming down is not the hard part, it's having once again to restart. Sometimes I would rather sit and watch the news. You told me life was easy, I've learned in parts that's true. If only you weren't so sleazy, I might consider you. How many days are left, I wonder, to ponder which of us was right, and who has built his life on wonder. I can't sleep at night.
Do something like this, the universe notices. The universe notices.
Count to 3 and jump if you're ready. There's no better time, see, the daylight is waning. And don't forget you may be alone when you first hit the